Hello guys, we're back looking at the Ford TW35 again today. In the last video you seen me sort the steering out, and today we're going to take a look at the rear of the tractor. So I think you know that it's going to be dual motor rear wheel drive, because I want to try and do some sort of electronic differential. So my plan for this is to use two of these kind of flipped N20 motors, and I'm going to cut the chassis around about here somewhere where there's this nice kind of flat section. You can see there's a bolt hole there. I'll probably drill straight through that bolt hole, mount this piece in on here because I'll have cut off this whole rear section because it's just going to be in the way. I'll mount that in and put a bolt straight through the whole lot to hold this on the rear. So I'm basically completely replacing the rear of the model. For the time being, I think I'm just going to put a tow hook or something on the back here just so that I can tow trailers, and then I'll worry about doing lifting arms and that kind of thing later on. But for now, it's probably just going to be towing trailers. What we really want to know is if we can get a differential effect with the two, or with control over the two individual motors, because you know when you take a bend, the inside wheels have a smaller distance to travel than the outside wheels. So if we slow down the inside motor, then we should be able to make the model turn a lot sharper. With the secret motors I have been using, it's one motor, one gearbox and one solid axle connected to both wheels. So the two wheels have to turn at the same speed whether you're taking a corner or not. So that means that the model is going to want to go in a straight line all the time, because the two wheels at the back can't go out of sync. They have to go the same speed. So I'm hoping if we can control the individual motors, we'll get much better steering. So I've 3D printed this little bit of a motor mount here, and until I remove this rear section I can't really make much more progress. So the next thing I'm going to have to do is just cut this section off here so that I can mount the motors up to it, and hopefully that will be our rear axle in place. Well, I cut the back off the model here, so that's the two pieces that I cut off. And I've put the model back together here just to see how everything lines up when I have my 3D printed motor mount in place. You can see there's a fairly big space there above the motor mount, well, between the motor mount and the cab. So I'd say there's going to be no problem getting the Arduino and the motor driver in there. I need to mount something to catch this little transmission tunnel, I guess it is, just so that that's not wobbling around there. But other than that, I think it's looking pretty good. The cab all fits back together. There's a mounting point on the bottom here and a screw point on the top, so that's fairly solidly mounted on there. It's good enough anyway. Then our wheel is just going to get mounted in around about there somewhere. I have a pretty long bolt here for the minute. I didn't have one that was short enough, so obviously I'll be replacing that with one that's just about the right length. So the next thing I need to do is mount the wheels to the motors, and to do that I'm going to 3D print. This was like a kind of a test piece that I had 3D printed for this, but for the actual wheels it's going to have this insert piece here that kind of fits over the circle here, but on the other side, instead of this square, it'll have a socket for this brass piece. So the brass piece will come in there, and I'm going to take the little splined piece of the axle, cut that, drill a hole through the brass piece here so that I can screw a little screw down there to clamp onto that piece of the axle there. I'll put that together with the 3D printed piece to hold the wider tyre on, and then I'll cut this down to size, drill another hole, tap it, and put another little screw in there to hold it to the axle. With any luck that'll all be fairly straight, and we should get our wheels on relatively easy, I think. And in case you don't remember, the 3D printed piece is because I'm using these wider tyres. So there's the original tyre, this is the tyre I'm planning to use. So I need to 3D print a little piece of wheel rim to fit in there so we can get our wider tyres with the more grippy plastic. This is a fairly hard plastic. This is a very soft plastic. I'm not sure what this came off, probably off a CQ model, but it's got a lot more grip and deeper tread, so it should be a little bit better for the RC tractor, I think. I I couldn't really find wheels that fit really well on the front, so I'm going to leave these as they are. They have still this hard plastic, so they might not be all that good, but because we have the differential effect, it probably won't matter all that much. I mean, we could brake steer with this if we wanted. Well, now you can see the little brass piece in here. I just cut it down to size, drilled 2 holes in each of them, and tapped them, and put a little grub screw in there, and just tightened it up to the axle, well, the bit that I'd cut off the axle and pushed into the wheel here, and also to the output of the motor. And that's all there is to that, really. At the minute I have it wired up. I just put a little bit of foam in here to prop the motors up, but you can see here I have the wheels pushed, or the tyres pushed to the outside of the wheel rims. Normally the wheel would obviously be in here a bit, but I have it the other way around, because when I put the motors down, the tyres, or the whole motor is able to bow up a little bit because it's not properly fixed in place, and it's hitting the mudguards. So I put the tyres out so to avoid that. I've just put an output here, and I'll show you how fast it is. It's a bit too fast maybe, but we can slow that down in the code. It might be easier to control with an actual controller than just doing what I'm doing now. It kind of takes off very quickly. But this will just be a little demonstration. So we're hooked up now. So that's our 2 motors there. It seems a bit faster than the Massey even. Actually, it might be a fairly decent speed. It's pretty good, and obviously we can kind of simulate simulate brake steering, I guess. Well, if I just do one wheel, so you get a little bit of traction there. Looks like I would need to have power to the other motor to stop it spinning. So maybe if I was going to implement a kind of brake steering in the code, I would do it by getting the other motor to go very, very slowly forward, because you can see it's starting to spin there a little bit. But it's not really a major thing. The important thing is the differential effect. So you can see we have individual control of each wheel there. So I just wanted to show you here that you can get individual control of each wheels there. So I'll need to do a bit of programming to do the differential effect on it. But so far so good. I'm going to probably finish off the cover for the wheels here and the wheel rims so that I can actually mount them together, and in the next video I'll have that sorted out, and I'll show you how the differential thing works, but it's going to take me a while to program that, so I'm going to end this video here. I'll probably need to sort out some sort of a tow hitch as well, so that I can hook up a trailer and just plug the wires in and set up the Arduino to test the differential thing, because I'm not sure if it's going to work, or even exactly how I'm going to wire it if it doesn't work. So it's better to kind of prototype it all out, test it, that it's actually going to work, because if it's not going to work, we'll probably just solder each pair of wires together and treat it like a normal motor, just drive it at both motors at the same speed. But hopefully the differential idea will work out. So that's all I have for today. If you liked that video, make sure and hit the thumbs up button and hit the share button and all that stuff. That's always very helpful. And any comments or questions, as usual, below the video, or head over to the forum. And that's everything for today, so thanks very much for watching.